Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mr. JP and the game is Out of Ore. A big thank you to all my viewers and subscribers who are joining me again, and to any new viewers out there. Yeah, thank you for joining me. First things last, I'm a little bit flawed. Yesterday evening there was a Q&A with the dev of the game. I haven't actually watched it yet, I've been too busy playing what is an excellent game. And the person that the Q&A was with was a gentleman whose channel is named Splitintwo Gaming. I'd like to thank him for the kind of message and advice and encouragement that he has sent me. And for the reality check, really, kind of three different feelings about it all. Kind of had this problem in my life, all my life, that I've never really thought of things that happen on the internet as real. I know that sounds really weird. I've said about it before. But yeah. So there was sort of that weird moment of it's all real. And there was also sort of this three-way thing that's probably quite similar to someone who is sort of works bit parts on movies, is on the set for a day, does their job, takes their money, goes home, doesn't even think about it. And then one day you're at the food wagon and the lead of the entire movie, who's like a really big name, comes up to you and addresses you by name straight out, like, whoa, they know my name. That's cool. Wow. And then there's this, oh god, they know my name. That's, oh, they've seen my videos. Oh no, oh no. And then there's this, oh, well, on the bright side, one of the aims of this channel was to get some attention and sort of improve everyone's game, and geez, if they know my name, I've got to up my game. So yeah, thank you for that one, and big thank you to the dev Christian for his attention as well, because he's answered me in the Discord and doing very well. The game is good, it is good. Looking forward to seeing the new mod for the hoppers, by the way, that is coming, because that's been one of my previous gripes, and it's being addressed, which is brilliant. And this is why Christian's a better dev than most already. He's listening to the people, he's getting updates out there so fast, it's unreal. As I say, there's more progress in this game than I've seen in other development games in a year already, and it shows so much promise, and there's so much stuff coming apparently. I'm really excited, as I say, really excited. I could get ahead of the game, play the beta branch, as it were, the beta version. I might do yet. We may change over in the same way that I decided to do the restart. But for the moment I'm playing the mainstream one because I suffer a bit of frustration with beta versions and game breaking problems that have to be worked through, and then another update and another update. I quite like things to be a little bit polished when I get hold of them. I've started off reviewing the main branch, and I figure my viewing's probably for people who aren't necessarily looking for the beta development side of things, so I'm going to stick with the main branch for the moment. Yeah, so yeah, I'm a little bit flawed, I'm a little bit stunned, and it's unlike me to be a little bit lost for words. You've got a lot of subscribers, so you've been in the game a long time and you're well known. It's a bit scary for me, really, a bit scary, but good, very good. But anyway, on with Out of Ore. So here I am, just quietly working this lithium seam out, and now that dump is full up, I'll go and get some of the dirtier stuff, stick it into the machines to get them running whilst I'm gone. Take a scrape out here for a start, 'cause I'm going to need this area to drop a bit for access. Oh, I'm loving this bulking system for scraping out the rich stuff. It just gets so much more. Oh, I'm going for hoppers. Remember where you're going, JP, remember where you're going. See, it's completely blown my mind, all this stuff, like this YouTube stuff, because like when I started this, I'm going to be honest, I know, because I look at the analytics, that people are watching my videos. You know, I think I've had 3,000 views, we've got over 30, I think we've got 34 subscribers now, and that has blown my mind already. But I know that the internet is a massive place and I'm a tiny fish. In the back of my mind, I know people are watching my videos. I do know it. I'm talking to you all, and you're sending me messages, and it's brilliant. But in the back of my mind, I was like, this sort of isn't real. Now it is. Like that was a bang smack. That's real. um, I know it's real. I've got a friend who lives in the same village. We talk about like stuff we're doing together online or what we're playing online and offline. So I know that the two are connected. But like myself, he's had his moments where he's not particularly sure on the internet. It's a funny old thing, and it's a really big place. But at the same time, the communities are very tight. They're very small. Everyone knows everybody. I just had that brought home to me because I've got about as much familiarity with the internet as I have with YouTube. However long my account's been running, pretty much how long I've been doing anything social on the internet. Never really did internet socialing, and during COVID, I got sort of left out of it all as well. Only recently got a video camera for doing the internet thing. At some point, maybe I'll do a FaceTime. That's daunting. Actual FaceTime. Oh. Not sure we can handle that. Might melt something somewhere, like other people's TVs. I've just done something silly because that's a really well laden bucket, so just jump out of there and I'll go and empty that out. But yeah, so hunting lithium, it can be a bit of a grind to get into the seam, but once you're into the seam, with this new bulking method. Did I even turn those machines on? No, I didn't. I meant to turn those on before I started driving off, or even before I started loading them. Brain blown. Might be the big roast I just ate as well. So you've got a stunned and satiated JP. I'm not even hungry. Not good. So yeah. I've been building this road out and gently widening it all the time, smoothing it with a roller, which is very nice. I like that roller. It's a great way to kill time. Started removing some of the long delays after can't dig anymore due to the weird FPS thing. And the machines are still running by running them as I work. It seems to help. And likewise I'm running them in parallel now because I found that with two hoppers on the go and by loading one then the other you can reduce the sort of load on the system and keep the frame rate drop reasonable. That's handy. And 122 grand by the hoppers sort of because you're running two of them, they're eating twice as much per second, which means there's less on the map that needs generating, I guess. Not quite sure how it works. I'm not a software guy. Not really a computer guy. Done a fair bit of work with them, but I've never had to build the software. I just sort of end user and run it. CNC machinery and that kind of thing, you know. But quite often been handed bits of software for CNC machinery with words break it. Those were amusing days. I enjoyed those. What can I enter here that'll make a mess of it? Ooh, let's try this. Oh. Yeah, guys, you got a problem there. Don't know what, but I did this. Good clean fun. Those were the days. Nice and innocent. Other than some of the things I found, if it had gone to the machines, there'd have been a lot of broken machines. Jeez. But it's funny because some of them are just like the ways programs interact with each other or they do certain things. It's yeah, strange odd things. But they confuse me. Can't see what's going on in software very well. Maybe I've just never had the software to read the software. Funny old stuff. But yeah, so what I've got going on here, I've got these two hoppers, I've got these two drums, both emptying out into the red dumper on the end there. Decided to go a bit festive. I found the sort of festive red, festive green. Quite like it. Wish they were that colour in the menu though. It would make them easier to tell apart, but currently the green one is the older of the two in that it's got the lower price, so that's how you can tell them apart really. For selection purposes. I could have got two different sized ones and made my life easy, but I like the volume. A bit like music. So yeah, there's a lot of lithium here. It's quite good, and we're starting to get down toward where there's some pay dirt as well, which is quite nice. So I mean, I haven't been doing too badly of what's been coming up the top here, but it has been a lot of the edge lithium. So yeah, I can just run. That hopper's still got rocks in it, but this hopper will instantly eat the first of the rocks that go into it, and then start slicing away what's in there. By the time I've got another scoopful, the first hopper will be empty. I can do the same thing again, and it'll eat them again quickly, and we reduce the FPS load, so we can dig for longer, which is nice. So I put my frustration aside, and I've started finding methods to play around the system, as it were. And as you can see, to build all this lot, I put myself back to 0 on the money, along with buying the extra dumper and everything. I was broke. In fact, I was minus $500. But then, I don't know, done a couple of sessions of gaming, so about half an hour's digging or so on each session, maybe a bit more. And we're already up to 2 mil, which is nice. Getting out the financial hole, be repaying the debt soon enough, which is good. Once that's off my neck, I will feel a lot better about the game, and we will celebrate perhaps with a Dreamlight Fest and busting up to another scene. I don't know yet. Don't know whether I'm going to expand up, down, left, right, sideways, or inwards. But I haven't done anything underground sort of thing yet, so we might try and get some underground stuff going on, or I might just try a big canyon mine into this hill so we can see the hill in profile with the big cut, see what's actually in here. Because I know what's over there towards the base. I've stripped all that off with the bulldozer and stuff, and didn't really find much, so moving out a bit into a bit of hill that's a bit higher here, and cut through the profile of it and see what we find. What I want to find is bedrock. Now apparently you don't need explosives or a ripper to dig bedrock at the moment, but I also saw a message in the Discord from one of the, I think it was, might have been the devs post that said, I'm on that, which was kind of funny. I presume when you get down to bedrock there's a lot of bedrock to go through cone drawer and cone crushers and stuff, which I've pretty much finished experimenting with. Know how to set them up, know how they run, seen the kind of things they can do, and know that for the majority of the time they're not worth using on the pay dirt, but once you get into the stone and you've got huge volumes of stone, then they're going to pay off. So be a little while before we see any expansion of this machinery, but at the same time I'm hoping to make the machinery up here semi-permanent on this structure at the moment, and we'll see what goes on. As I say, plan to be a bit more Dreamlight happy in this one, so I can progress a little faster. I've had it out once, had a little play, and it blew the outer perimeter off of this place fairly well and expanded it for me, so did quite well there. But mostly I'm processing this stuff just as a way of moving it down the hill. As you can see, there's a bulldozer down there, and that's where the chuck out is for the waste. And I'm just going to slowly bulldoze it along that hill, building up a second shelf and a second road at a lower height. And I'm going to keep doing that down the hill sort of thing, until I get down to the other seam of lithium that's below this one just there. But I want to get significantly below it on the road, so I'm going to need some filling out material to, judging from the last road I built down there, I don't want it to be as steep, so I'm probably going to zigzag it, and that's going to require some material. You can dig it out the hillside, but because of the shape of the hillside and where my other road is, I don't think I can do that. I think I've got to build it up. So There's going to be some more conveyors, but the lag doesn't appear to be related to the amount of conveyors you have in the map. So I've got minimal conveyors in this one. I didn't even have the waste out on this machine, and I was still getting similar effects. So it's definitely some other effect. We'll see what happens when the hoppers are modified, because that may make a significant difference. And it may be something in the conveyor system. I know they're being reworked, which I'm looking forward to as well. I'm looking forward to it all. I want it all. So impatient sometimes. But yeah. So I've also heard a hint there's some more new equipment as well. So yeah. I really must watch the dev stream. But I may have to wait until I've expanded this a bit more. I'm on a bit of a one-man mining mission, I guess. One of my viewers asked me about why I was getting the long AFK times. Quite simply, when I was bulldozed hopper loading, you could go from an empty machine to one with like 30,000% in it quite quickly, even with it on. So that's where those times were coming from. Because I'm no longer bulldozer loading, I'm not having those kind of times in these games. In this new game, so just depends how you play. Like a lot of sandbox games, you can have a slow or a fast game, depending on what you do. If I lined up a line of hoppers and I put a line of drums behind them, so they all parallel process, so that each hopper has its own drum, then I probably wouldn't have had those long lags. But every hopper you saw me bulldozing into or loading into was going into the same machine, single drum. So that's how that loading was happening. Seemed a bit crazy at the time, but I'd already tested the parallel processing once in an earlier version before the bulking. I wanted to test it again. Ooh. That machine looks like it has sort of filled up the dumper. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to where this game's going. The sheer gaming variety, I should take a break and do something else at some point, but at the same time, all the other games I got that yeah, that's the problem. All the other games I got is one problem. The second problem is this is really good. Really enjoy myself, so that's the second problem. Not enough hours in the day, too many games to play, and this one's occupying 100% of the slot at the moment. I think I played some Space Engineers the other day to film a video. That was meant to be a quick 15-minute thing, and I ended up in there an hour. That's Space Engineers for you. Been wanting to play a couple of other games, and I just keep on getting dragged back to this, so it's obviously a sign of a good game, right? I've done a little bit of digging over here now. I actually did attack that little seam that's just opposite the one that's marked in the tutorial. Took a little bit out from down there, had a little dig around, and a little bit more of a surface explore than I did the first time I took it out, and I'm a little bit excited about what's there. It's quite a big seam actually. So yeah, I might be reinstigating a grizzly conveyor, but I might be using it differently. I might just use it a little bit differently, as I say. Let's get lined up properly. Okay. So it's because the floor underneath is kind of uneven. There we go. It's kind of uneven because I probably haven't. No, I haven't pointed this out. I only just built it. This is all today's gaming, really. The road was complete last night, but this bit down here I've been bulldozing and opening out, and nice, that works. Got a nice little loading area here, so anything that comes down can be recycled, and will be, because I'll be digging in that area for the new seam. So yeah, all going well. 2.2, another 800 grand, and we're there. Goodbye loan, debt free. Woohoo! I like that debt free moment when it doesn't matter what I'm playing. that break-even moment when you pay off the loan or what have you. Always a good day. So there's little satisfying things in games. There's also getting all the missions done, leaving yourself with only the fuel missions. Which a little bit more bulldozing and rolling in that direction. A few more seams to open up in that direction, and yeah, be able to do the fuel missions. This time I'm taking the a road round to the other tower on a different route. It's going to stay at the same height as this, as much as it can, all the way around there, and then descend to the height of the ridge line and go round and follow the ridge most of the way, giving me a high road to drop roads off of, or go into seams in the hill that are above it at my leisure, really. As you've seen from the runs with the dump trucks, it's pretty quick to get down to the sales hole now, so take another money cut. I've actually spread this seam out a little in this direction, because when I got to the end of a gaming session there was very little in the red dumper. I was just dumping it at the front of the seam, knowing that I'm going to dig it out later. So it's sort of a, yeah, just dump it there, keep it there safely. And did a couple of experiments just digging it out again. I realised I wasn't really losing anything significant, so hence I didn't put any hoppers or anything underneath that overflow grid under the red loading bay, as it were. And just went for it. Which means the cheaper overheads. Got less equipment to worry about, which is kind of handy. Yeah. Oops. It's the only problem with having equipment near where you're digging. It can get between you and the your camera position and where you're working, which can be annoying. I can get around it by zooming in a bit more, but no need. Just, take a bit more for the machinery. So yeah, as I say, I'm pretty much just using the machinery to run the topsoil at the moment. There is actually some valuable stuff in the topsoil. There's different coloured bits of it. Found this one bit that was sort of a light grey, and when I ran it, it seemed to spew valuables into the dumper. So I wouldn't write off all of the topsoil with Dreamite. There seems to be something out there. I'll see if I can spot some more of that grey stuff in it as I'm digging and point it out to you. It's not grey like the edge of this seam. It's a lighter, much more subtle hint. There's a piece of it just in the corner of that screen. I'm going to have to up the detail level that I take these videos as well, because I believe they're a bit blurry on YouTube from what I've seen from my watches. At the same time, that's going to mean longer upload times, but I did an experiment. I do appear to be able to play out of ore without too much of a problem whilst uploading, so maybe it won't be so much of a worry these days. I was worried about overtaxing my system, but it appears to be able to handle it. I think it does things on different cores, I'm not sure. But all of a sudden, when I started multitasking like that, core loading went down and a few other things, but it didn't seem to affect the gameplay at all. So, yeah, interesting one, very strange. As I said, I don't get this modern software. Give me DOS any day of the week, I know what I'm doing there. Showing my age a bit, but well, it still works certain things in the world, and without them you'd be lost, so we won't knock that one too badly. It operated many things that were very important for a very long time. But it does have the security of a paper bag, I'll give you that. So yeah, I've just been, as I say, scraping at the seam, and as you can see, it doesn't take much to fill your bucket up in this bulking mode. I'm pretty sure that in bulking mode the seams are going to last longer than digging in the other one because it destroys less dirt. Fairly sure of it. I'm convinced that this bulking mode is the way forward. And the fact that you saw how I just filled that dumper, get a lot less frame drop there because it's not generating the particles. And I think that if you're tipping one bulking set vehicle to another, it should skip that particle generation phase and just use like an animation of the stuff going in. Something that's not physics calculated. And that would save a whole load of processor cycles. Leaving them free to generate this beautiful landscape. I'm loving the fact that I know this landscape goes on for a fair distance in any direction. Apparently there's 400,000 kilometers square, so I did a bit of a square root sort of thing on that, and I worked out that the sides were they're either 40 or 400 kilometers long, roughly, just ballpark figure, the way I do maths. Some reason 427 or something comes to mind as a square root for that number. But yeah, considering that the Conway points are only like a couple of kilometers in each direction, there's a lot more landscape out there for me to bust roads through. So I'm going to try and keep a road as close to this altitude as possible across every high thing. Maybe, I don't know. So much potential, so many things to do, so little time, and such small equipment. I want a bigger loader, you know, something that can fill one of these dumpers in maybe 2 passes rather than the 4 it takes this one. So I guess that would be if this is a 501, I'm looking for the 1001. 1001. I think it's a cleaning product. Gets rid of stains. Just thinking the 1001 loader would be like the cleaning product for cleaning up veins. Oh dear. Yeah, spend a lot of time on my own. Doesn't take much. On the bright side, I'm quite easy company, really. Like pretty much if someone's around, I'm quite happy. Doesn't take much to entertain me. Just be there. It's fine. So yeah, all in all, the out of awe experience I'm having is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Game breaking updates are being addressed. I think one of the reasons sometimes it's a bit quiet about certain problems is because it is a problem, and so you don't really want to say, oh, it's going to be fixed if you don't know the fix is going to work yet. It makes sense. These are not the same problems that I've seen with other developers, because with other developers they go quiet like that and then you never hear anything. This is go quiet and then a couple of weeks later it's like, yeah, we fixed that, here it goes. And that's nice. I like it. I do like things that develop quickly. At the same time, you've got to guard against growing too much, taking it too far, getting bogged down into the little things when the big things still need work. Definitely the drag racing thing. Got to have that working drivetrain and engine before you do the body work on. Otherwise, it's can be a little bit messy. Yeah, there's another patch of that funny grey stuff. Bit in front of me here is Lithium. I know it's Lithium because I pushed it up here earlier. But there's a funny grey patch in the next bit over about the same height. Just there. And that, when it's run, seems to spit out valuables. so we'll grab at that. Off. I'm liking the new gearboxes as well. They're a lot better than the old ones were. These ones don't lock up as much on hills. And since I found the forward and reverse manual select, and it works even with auto select switched in, you can if you get that gearbox jam, you can just flick forward and reverse and everything's cool. So that gets around that problem. As I say, I'm always one, especially with a development game, that you're gonna have to quite often game around some problems. You'll have to change the way you play rather than sort of expecting the game to be working properly. More than one game I've avoided a certain area because it's bugged for a while and then gone back to it after it's been patched. So I don't mean stay away from the game, I just mean avoid that patch on the map. So yeah, there's been some funny ones, been some funny bugs. It's had its moments. I think I'm going to go in there again, see if I can get some more of that. See whether it was a fluke or whether it was the other stuff that I'd loaded in the hopper that was giving out that rich stuff. But there's not a lot of that. Last time I had nearly pure scoopfuls of it. So the difference between a quarter ton of it and 10 tons is probably quite significant in the chance of finding anything. Ooh, that one's going straight in the dumper. That's not going anywhere near a machine. Yeah, you don't want to be running this stuff through a machine really. I'm running the edge stuff through because I'm quite close to my objective. And it's what the machine should be for sorting stuff out, so this is me using the machines for what you'd initially use them for. Personally, I'm not convinced by the order of the machines. The idea of jaw crushing it first to unlock the rich stuff from inside the rocks and then sticking it through a sorter and separating it all sort of makes a bit more sense from what I've seen from other footage of actual mines working, but maybe iron mines are a little different, I don't know. They seem to stick everything that comes in, including sometimes bits of tree, through these big gyratory cone crushers. They're the first things that they hit. Then they go through the jaw crushers and then it goes off. Sorting drums just don't come into it by the looks of things unless it's done before it's loaded into the dumper and taken to the cone crusher. But, very therapeutic videos to watch, just eats rocks. It's only when they get like a jam that requires guys to go down there and rope a boulder to get it out that you realise how big the thing is. It's quite large. I think the dumpers that are coming in are the 100-ton jobs, and they're tipping up like this and chucking it in and it's flowing down and it's just disappearing through this thing and big boulders are exploding and horrendous thing. I'd like to see one in the game, it'd be cool. Something that can handle some real volumes that we can build into a custom built building of our own design. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I like seeing. Let's get another mission on the go. You see all those red fuel triangle missions starting to pop up, but another 6 or 7 dumpers full and I'll be able to buy a fuel truck with a clean conscience. Like doing things with a clean conscience, and like being happier as well. Definitely happier since I've had something to do. It's all about staying useful, and it's nice to know from my viewers that some of my videos are useful. I need to do some more focused videos on how to use tools and methods and that kind of thing, which I'll be doing. But I think I've got over 200 or 300 hours in game now, something like that, and I'm only really learning how to use some of the vehicles properly. Like I was having a lot more success with the grader the last time I used it, but with the roller now it's kind of I'm going to have to find something else for the grader to do if I buy it at all. Excavators are something that are going to come into fashion, especially with my new joysticks. Once we get those out of the Christmas wrapping paper across. Probably sounds a bit weird buying yourself presents, but in this case it was something that I had to go and try out and feel and see how comfy they were. And the ones I found are fairly ambidextrous, seem to work both left and right handed. I believe the thrust, off the top of my head, they're a Thrustmaster ones, so I hope they're compatible. If not, there'll be an appeal going in a Discord. But they should be, these things are universal, they're all USB, right? Isn't that what the U stands for? Universal? It's Universal Service Bus. or something. But yeah, there's been a lot of this sort of slow and steady dig and load on this job. Not too much coming through the drums at the moment, so I haven't really been hitting them hard. Been hitting the proper stuff, rich stuff, the good stuff, the white stuff. I would like to get into that platinum seam that's up there that I was on before, because that was quite profitable too. And that would yield a lot more nicely now with bulking to would do the job. But at the same time, there's more lithium below me on the hill and above me on the hill, and as I say, all this topsoil. I think I might this time round. I did things with it last time and experimented and that kind of thing. This time round there may well be a bulldozer and Dreamite option, but we'll see how that goes. It might end up getting bulldozed into a conveyor. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes. It's going to be a matter of how I feel at the time, I think. I've been keeping an eye on the price of Dreamite in the shop as well, and when it's cheap I'll buy it for that. Otherwise, the other option's the excavator, of course. I do need more practice with the excavator. And yeah, we need to try out the 500 model as well, you know, the one with the tooth bucket. So yeah, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of money to be spent and earned. I need to try out the small bulldozer again as well. Forgot about that. So might get a small dozer on the go for a bit of waste pile management, or possibly the road building. The road building is actually quite a wide thing. You need quite a wide road, really. So yeah, that might be a big dozer job. Maybe one with handrails and one without, so I can tell the difference. That might be the way forward. Also been fitting my vehicles up with lights. Haven't really tried them out yet. I was going to experiment with the day-night option, but that can wait a little longer. Quite like being able to just mine in daylight, and it leads to better filming. How's that waste pile? Oh dear. That waste pile does not look good. 41 frames a second. Take a break there, and just go empty this dumper, and then come back and after a save, just in case moving all of that crashes the game, just go down and I'll demonstrate how I'm managing my waste pile and why I'm doing it the way I am. You can see how here I've got this line above the road, which was the initial sort of push through with the dozer and the loader that gave me my first road. That was just a smooth line that I was following, where I'd smoothed everything out for running along. And that just made things easier for the initial loads out of that lithium seam that I'm working on, just when I cut the top open, before I decided, no, we're just going to build this road. It's only 40k a day, so I just knocked it out in less than a day, probably just over a day of game time. Yeah, it served pretty well. It was a bit narrow in places at first, but I got in with a few loads of waste using the dumper, and widened it out in a couple of places. It still needs a bit more backfilling in this dip here, and then I'll have a nice straight wall along there. And eventually this ramp here that goes down there will be gone. Eventually. Well, maybe. We'll see. It might remain. It depends how usable it is, I guess. So yeah, I'll just position this for its next fill. Go check that this isn't. Yeah, that's alright. And before you start doing any new job after doing an old job, save the game. Otherwise you'll lose all your work. Should anything bad happen with the Unreal 4 engine, because some of this, I'm pretty sure some of this isn't software being ickety and having like funny loops in it or whatever, and some of it's the Unreal 4 engine. because some of the Unreal 4 crashes I'm seeing in this look very similar in how they happen to other games that I've played with the Unreal 4 engine. So yeah, the bulldozer's much improved. Apparently the small one's fixed as well, so I might get the small one down here to work this. And I've just got the blade tilted back a little because I want to carry more than cut. I don't really want to dig downwards. I'm just pushing forward, and I'm not actually pressing backwards there. I'm just letting the dozer roll backwards under its own weight, and back it comes. So I'll just tilt that blade back a bit more. Zero out the GPS because I don't want to cut too deep now at all, and do another push. And just load it up onto the blade, push forward, let it all flow off. And you can just slowly build yourself a nice straight ramp straight across, if I can get a viewpoint on it. I'm just going to do it from in-cab. We're aimed at the company headquarters here, so it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it, for putting a road through. So I'm just going to, keep just shoving this pile down the hill a little here. And as you can see, we can pretty much build up this ramp all the way along the side of the road, widening the road, with all the waste material from down here without using too many conveyors is the idea. Once this bit here is level, I'll put a conveyor on and just put the waste pile out into a virgin piece of ground so that I'm not constantly having to clean up something that I've already cleaned up. Yeah, not much more to say about this bit of the waste management really, other than I could vary it up if I wanted to. So for instance, because I've got those holes to fill at the top there, bring the loader down here and just load this straight into a dumper. I could also take the conveyors off completely and load both dumpers off the machines up at the top, which is how I was running before I got into the seam properly, when it was just the topsoil. That's how I built most of that road, was with the dumper. You saw how easy this is, just so easy now. It's lovely to use. It cuts, it pushes, it built all these ramps. I reckon I've spent a lot of time in the loader, but the dozer sure is getting some time on it as well, my word. But yeah, straight across, a little bit of a kick there, and just smooth stuff out. It's lovely. Oh, I see why the kick, there's a lump there. There we go. Like so. So yeah, I'll probably leave this one the length it is at the moment, because the whole point of this is to put a lot of material down into this valley, all the way across toward the coal seam, ironically, because I've got to get down to the bottom of that seam there with the road. And I came down into this valley before in my last game, you may remember, and I came off there and I came down here and into this corner with that long curving downhill sort of road, and it was pretty steep, So this time round I think I might build the same thing but with a triple zigzag in it, and maybe a straight up access road out from the other side of the seam round and up to the road I'm going to build. I'm hoping that by the time I get round there I've got the money for the grizzly conveyor that I want. I guess would be the best way of putting it. And hopefully some decorative stuff is going to be built at the same time as that grizzly conveyor. Like in the way of permanent buildings on the route of the conveyor and that kind of thing for doing certain tasks. But we'll see. I'm still thinking that one through. I spend a lot of time thinking games through when I'm not playing them. I've got a nice wood burner in my shed outside, you see. It's making quitting smoking very difficult. Let's go down there and got the wood burner and peace and quiet countryside, other than the raving boy racer cars that go past because we're quite near a road. Yeah, kind of awkward, but very nice when it's like -4. Very comfy. Just a little quiet. Better with company. Definitely better with company. So yeah, see how quickly that I cleaned all of that out, and we're ready for the next load of waste to come down here and start flipping about. I always park my bulldozer so that the blade isn't on any concrete because they have a tendency to eat it. They're feisty animals. They need a lot of space to work, and yeah, they tend to chew stuff. When kept in confined spaces might be the best way of putting it. Yeah, it's funny how something. I've watched a lot of YouTube in my time over the years, and you sort of take YouTube for granted, and then you start getting involved with it and creating, you suddenly realise it's a very powerful thing. Very powerful thing. Ultimately, maybe it's like anything. Whatever happens, there's a reflection of you. I don't know. All very deep for a Saturday evening. All very deep. Bit like where I'm trying to aim my hole in out of ore, really. It's the whole point of the game. It's getting deep. So maybe it's natural to think these deep thoughts. Oh, 7, 9, ooh, 15. That's not the best of situations. Maybe I'll dump the next one a bit slower. That one. Definitely a textural difference between that and the other bits near it, so we'll have that out. There we go. Nice, gentle, slow empty out. Yeah, and we're staying in the 20s, 19, 25. So you definitely don't tank as much if you don't dump as hard. That's for sure. So it's definitely something with the speed that all those physics calculations have to happen when they all hit at the same time. So the bulk red hopper loading should cure a lot of that problem, I reckon. Hope so. It'd be good. Quite happy when I don't have to go, because I've gone too far with the speed of my loading or that kind of thing. Because one of the experiments I did, I filled up 3 dumpers, parked them all 3 corners back onto one of those hoppers and tipped them all 1, 2, 3 and filled it up quite nicely, and then, yeah, say hello Unreal error box. But that was in like that was before all of these mod updates and the bulking. That was back in the days of particles. I was pushing it, having 3 dumpers full of particles. That was loading the system back then. These days with the bulking, I think once it's in the dumpers, it doesn't matter. So since it doesn't overflow either, throw it in this one. Trade that line. Looks like it's got a lot of white bits in it. There we go, that's full. May as well get your money's worth. Plus 4 full buckets is pretty much the perfect contents for one of these large dumpers now, so it's always best to get full one. Nearly muted myself then. Must find a way of deactivating the mouse for that. It becomes active near the recording window and you don't see it, and then the next thing you click mute, which is why in a couple of my videos I've gone quiet after I think 20 minutes was the icon. these things happen. Learning experience. Keep my eye on that mic thing. It does click it. I know a shortcut key. Oh, those classic words when you're journeying around the countryside. Oh, I know a shortcut. Yeah, okay. Most cases when other people said it, we got lost. When I said it, it meant we were probably about to drive through a river in a Land Rover. It was good fun. I don't know, there doesn't appear to be that good a navigation system in this game yet, so building yourself a signpost or two along your road network might be useful out of some blocks so you know which junction's which. Maybe I'm being too sensible and thinking too far ahead, but if you've got 25 kilometres of roads and this becomes multiplayer, we're going to need signposts. That or a map, of course. A map is always a good one. So that's a mistake that a certain multiplayer railroading game that I play have made. There was no signposts for a long time, and I don't think there is. But you can now see players on the map, but you still can't see where the rails are. So it's going to be challenging, like for any multiplayer game, because there's no voice comm in the game either. Yeah, the things people do when they develop games. This is why Christian's doing such a good job, really. 112 grand. We like. 2.6 mil. 400 thou. Be able to get rid of that loan. So as you can see, you can, off of a lithium seam, continuously. Well, I haven't even been continuously digging at it. I've been doing the junk as well through the machines and messing around and not thinking about what I'm doing and driving like an idiot because I'm talking to you guys, and it's all ad lib, so there's no script. I haven't planned what I'm talking about. It's a miracle if I stay on subject. I do like the 501 loader. I like the action on it. I'm hoping that I'm going to try out the probably the 530 excavator and be this excited about it, and then I get my joysticks and I'll be really happy, because I've got a feeling using the loader with the joysticks is going to be a joy. Sorry, bad. That was really bad, because it's just going to be like little movements here, there, just like the real thing. Well, not just like the real thing, but you know what I mean. I did think about getting a steering wheel, but I've owned steering wheels before and I found that I don't use them that much. I know I use joysticks. I killed my last one, but that was Flight Sims. Let's get the joysticks. Maybe I'll get back into a bit of Elite Dangerous, but definitely going to be useful in Space Engineers. Definitely going to be useful in other games I play as well. So I don't know, maybe I'll start flying things again. I haven't played Flight Sim in a long time. But first I've got to get this out of Orbug out of my system. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon with the speed the updates are coming, because I've got a short attention span, but these are coming faster than my short attention span. Normally I play 2 or 3 games a week, but I've been on out of or nearly continuously for 3 weeks, I think. Possibly more. A mate of mine tried to get me interested in another game. I'm still yet to play the tutorial, and I will play that tutorial. I will get round to it. Just keep on getting distracted with shopping trips and like out of awe and making YouTube videos and eating. I spend a lot of time eating. For a skinny guy, I eat an awful lot. Come on, look up. What are you doing? That's me lifting the front wheels off the deck. You really do need your front wheels on the deck to dig now. You can't just force it in. There is a certain amount of finesse to what's being done these days, which is good. I like it. I like that a little bit more. A little bit more to a game. It's those little touches. They just they make it. They do make it. So yeah, I'm probably going to leave this video here. You can see what I've been up to. Like, there is a certain amount of grind in any computer game. I'm in that grind now, and that is the financial grind. But yeah, you keep going back and forth. Keep on skimming the top off of your chosen vein, because that coal seam will do the job quite nicely on the loan I've got, but you have to get quite deep into it. So there's that lithium vein there, which I think is bigger than it looks. I think there's actually another spur of it just a little beyond, because I seemed to cut into something white there when I did a test skim. So it might have been when I opened it up last time I missed a load at the top, but because I found two separate spurs further down, and I've been told that they were referred to as nodes, whatever you want to call the resource veins. They actually spread out and they move around a bit as they go down. So it'll be interesting as we follow these lithium veins down to see what they do. If they join together into one big vein, that'd be awesome. I need to find that other lithium vein as well that's up on the hill. Might just quickly do that now. Got a couple of minutes left on the video before I lose the ability to talk, because the sound file gets to its maximum value for the recording software. I really must get around to editing that value, if I remember. Keep on playing out of ore, that's the problem. Sign of a good game though. If it keeps holding you, it's a sign of a good game. Alright, so we are there. So as you can see, it's not that big a hole, but it's earned me 3.5 mil, easy. So there's the hole. There's the next vein. Pretty sure that's the next vein that I'm going to dig out here. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll dig into it and find out. Do a test sample. Probably come up from this side. I think I've nearly got a ramp here already. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's going to come together really nicely. Okay. At least I know what I'm doing in my next session. So yeah, this is where we're at. This is where we're at over there. Got this nice view back that way. And eventually there'll be two stepped roads going in that direction. Maybe with a zigzag, or I don't know. I might take the top out of that coal seam and backfill it. We shall see. We shall see. A lot more digging between now and then of this lithium vein and the next one up on the hill. I'm going to stop digging this one when it gets level with this deck and then go in from underneath. Which will be fun. That'll be a whole new game. Bit of underground mining. It'll be nice when we get some dedicated underground gear that's a bit lower. It'll be nice when we get some bigger gear. It'll be nice to have a 4x4. Just for carrying buckets around for the XTM machines. But yeah, so... Oh, and I need to get decorative and build some more cool signposts and stuff. So anyway, have a great rest of the weekend, guys, and thank you very much for joining me. This is Mr. JP, clocking off for the moment. Stay safe, everybody. Goodbye.